Some stories in history refuse to fade. They linger not because of terror or tragedy alone, but because they challenge the very structure of what we believe reality is. The mystery of the Pollock twins is one of those rare cases so detailed, so well documented, and so uncanny that even today, researchers and skeptics struggle to fully explain it. Our story begins in the quiet town of Hexham, in northern England, a place where nothing extraordinary ever seemed to happen. But in 1957, the Pollock family, John Florence, and their two young daughters would experience something that would echo for decades. Their daughters, Joanna, aged 11, and Jacqueline, aged 6, were inseparable. Joanna was the responsible, nurturing older sister, while Jacqueline was more emotional and lively. They were a perfect pair, always seen together, always holding hands. But on the morning of May 7, 1957, tragedy struck. While the girls were walking to church with a friend, a car veered out of control, and in an instant, all three children were killed. The event shattered the Pollock household. Florence fell into a deep depression. John, while grieving, clung to an unusual conviction he had held long before the accident. He believed in reincarnation. He believed life could return, that souls could find their way back. A year later, in 1958, Florence became pregnant again. Doctors assured the family she was carrying a single child, but John insisted they would have twins. More strangely, he believed those twins would be Joanna and Jacqueline. Returned. On October 4, 1958, Florence gave birth to twin girls, Jennifer and Gillian. The first sign of something unusual appeared immediately. Jennifer had a birthmark on her waist, identical to one Jacqueline had. She also had a faint mark across her forehead, matching the exact location of a scar Jacqueline received years before. Gillian, the other twin, physically resembled Joanna in a way that was difficult to ignore. But physical similarities can be dismissed as coincidence or genetics. What could not be dismissed were the memories. When the twins were barely old enough to speak, they began recognizing objects that had belonged to the deceased girl's toys, that had been boxed away in the attic, untouched for years. The moment Jennifer saw a small doll, she grabbed it and said, "This one is mine." Gillian picked up another and said, "And this one is yours. You gave it to me." Their parents stood speechless. No one had ever told them who owned those toys. As they grew older, more unsettling details emerged. On a walk through Hexham one day, the family passed the school the older girls had attended. The twins stopped and stared. "That's our school," Jennifer whispered. "We played in that yard," Gillian added. Their parents exchanged horrified glances. The twins had never been there. Then came the fragmented, but frighteningly vivid, memory of the accident. One afternoon, a car drove by a bit too quickly, and Jennifer immediately clung to her sister, trembling. "It's coming again," she whispered. The car. No one had ever mentioned the accident to them. What made the case even more compelling was the psychological resemblance. Jennifer behaved exactly like Jacqueline Moore, dependent, anxious, and emotional. Gillian, like Joanna, was calm, dominant, and protective. When the twins turned 5, the mysterious memories began to fade. Yet the case had already caught the attention of Dr. Ian Stevenson, a respected psychiatrist from the University of Virginia. He investigated the twins for years, documenting their memories, behaviors, and birthmarks. He would later describe the Pollock twins as one of the strongest pieces of evidence ever recorded for possible reincarnation. But the question remains, were Jennifer and Gillian actually recalling a past life? Were they the rebirth of Joanna and Jacqueline? Or is there a hidden psychological mechanism, something we still do not understand, that can transmit memory across siblings or through trauma? To this day, No one has been able to explain the case with certainty. And that is what makes the Pollock Twins mystery so haunting. Not because it is violent or tragic, but because it forces us to look at the boundary between life and death and wonder whether that boundary is as fixed as we once believed. Perhaps some stories don't end. Perhaps some stories return. If this story made you think, let me know your theories in the comments. If you like to see true historical mystery stories or true horror stories, follow us. If you like to see true historical mystery stories or true horror stories, follow us. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this. See you in the next one.